MyMac Podcast 893. Let the games begin.
And welcome everyone to the MyMac.com podcast. Gaz is feeling a little ornery. Wait, ornery with a rugby honors dinner. So Karl is stepping in to help me, and I have no honor, with the podcast this week. Karl, who knows all of the ins and outs of gaming with games not meant for the Mac, and he's going to tell us in the center section today how he does that. Hello, Karl. How are you, sir?
Hello, Guy. I'm very well, thank you very much. Is this another Karl, though, that knows about everything to do with gaming? I'm not sure that's me, but I'll give it a stab.
Well, I got to tell you, I tried doing it some of the ways that you talked about. It just wouldn't work for me, so I actually went out and bought a cheap Windows PC.
Oh, dear.
I know. I'm sorry.
Disappointing.
I would be. Well, but it's going to be kind of a different show today since Gaz isn't here, and without Gaz here, I'm not exactly sure how things are going to go. So we'll just have to kind of stumble through and somehow try to get through without Gaz.
I'm here.
Oh,
What a surprise!
It's the foul-mouthed one.
Yes, how dare you, sir? How dare you?
What? I mean, I don't drop F-bombs, do I?
Well,
not unless the editing's correct.
Well, that could have contributed to it.
How are you both? It's good to. I wasn't going to be here, folks, but actually, a last-minute change in terms of timings. I'm still going to be honorary, apparently.
Yes,
ornery.
Ornery.
More onerous, I think, than honorary. But
just don't be horny while you're here on the show.
No, I just.
Especially while we're on cameras, please.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I'm definitely not going to pick my nose either. So look,
it's in the show notes.
I jumped in, folks, to do a quick show. Did air quotes there, folks, because the guy in Gaz MyMac show is never quick.
No. And it's not even usually the show itself. It's the before stuff. Sometimes the during stuff, and definitely after the stuff.
Yeah. So what have you been up to this week, Guy?
We're filled with stuff. I had less than a pleasant car experience, and I don't really know how to feel about it. I've been putting in up to 2 quarts of oil between oil changes in my Kia Soul, which, and again, I've talked about this car. I've absolutely loved driving this little car, especially after all the big family behemoths that I've been driving over the years. And the car comes with a 100,000 mile warranty. So I figured, okay, I'm going to have Kia look at this before the warranty is up, because I'm at about 88,000 miles now. So I just happened to be down in Fredericksburg, which is way south of where I live for reasons that I won't go into. And I had the oil changed at a dealership there. And then yesterday, Friday, I went to the local dealership to have them start what's called an oil consumption test. But they told me that since I didn't have the oil changed at that dealership on that day, that they couldn't do it. And I was like, I had it changed at a Kia dealership, and it was 2 days ago. I haven't driven more than 60 miles on the car. And for that matter, why does it even matter? You take a look and you see how high the oil is now, and then 1,000 miles from now, you see how much oil is in the car then. What difference does... I could have had it changed by Bob's Your Uncle Oil Change and Lube Center. What difference does it make? But they insisted, and I don't have any reason to disbelieve them yet, that it was Kia's corporate policy to do it this way. And I'm going to hear from them hopefully no later than Monday, because I mean, I showed them the paperwork from the other Kia dealership where I had the oil change. It's like, I don't want to play this game. So You tell me by Monday if corporate's going to make an exception for this, and then we start the oil consumption test. Because I can't wait until the next oil change, because then I'll be over 95,000 miles. And by the time the oil consumption test is different, I'll be past the... Ooh, I almost said a really bad word there. I'll be past the warranty. So don't play this game, Kia. I have been singing the praises of your cars
Company.
ever since I bought that Soul. So don't play this game. Anyway, and I'm not at all upset, by the way.
We can tell. We can tell,
Yeah.
can't we, Karl? Can't we,
Yeah.
Karl? We can tell.
I was level-headed and really good.
I love it when they say, that's not our policy. I don't care.
Yeah, I really...
That's your problem.
I sincerely do not care. And if I don't get satisfaction... Oh, I wasn't ready. Damn it. If I don't get satisfaction...
And she's not only merely dead, she's really most sincerely dead.
Yeah, so that's something that could happen. All right, so moving on from that, Karl, have you been? It has been so long since we've had you on the show. I imagine you've been up to some stuff. So, you don't have to spend tell us everything that's happened over the last 2 years. You can leave out the bathroom breaks.
Karl, unlike Guy would.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely would.
To the minutiae detail,
Yeah. And then I drank a glass of water.
Which was tepid.
It
Anyway.
was 68.7 degrees.
Anyway, no. So this week I brought back the Back and Forth show. So we're back on the air with Steve, Alan, and Barry's now joining us on a semi-regular basis as well.
I was listening to that yesterday.
Took a long break as well because work just got insane. As some people might know, I'm a driver in the medical field. So with COVID going on, it was getting it was getting a pain. But so I took a break there and then had a few health problems, which now they've kind of gone. So that's good. Had COVID twice while I was away, and here we are, back again.
Some people
I
had it 19
I wrote
times.
some bumpers for some people as well.
Oh, them. Well, Gaz, tell us about this dinner that you're going to tonight.
Well, it's my old rugby club. It's their centenary year, and they had a centenary ball earlier in the year, but they've got, like every rugby club, they're having their annual dinner, and it's this evening. Well, I actually refereed them. I wanted to referee them a couple of times if I could during this season in their centenary year. Did I mention it's their centenary year? I'm not sure that I did.
I'm not sure if most Americans know what centenary means.
Because you barely got one.
100 years, right? Right.
Very good.
So
okay.
they were formed back in 1922. Anyway, this is their centenary season, I should call it, really, I suppose. And I ref them one time at home, and then I ref them again in an away match. And the president actually came up to me and said, "Are you coming to our annual dinner?" I went, "Yeah, I'm coming. I'll come along." And he said, "Would you mind speaking at the dinner?" So I went, "Well, I won't have much to say, but yes, I can say a few words." So I've been tapping on my iPad this week, writing up some script, and I've also been in front of MyMac quite a lot this week because I've been doing a few bits on computer work, with keyboard and mouse and things. And it's,
okay, Jim.
And it's been really good. So yeah, so that's all it is. It's just an annual dinner for a rugby club. A lot of clubs and societies have these sorts of things, and that's what it's going to be. So I shall be on the top table with, for anybody in the UK that follows rugby and follows this, the main speaker will be somebody who was known by the nickname of Pitbull. Now his real name is Brian Moore. Moore. He was a hooker. Yes, all Americans are now rolling about laughing. As I was a hooker, as you're even laughing even more now. I know that. And he played for England on a not nerf herder, no hooker.
Oh,
and he played for England on many occasions. So I shall be kind of the next in line before he then speaks. And but he's probably getting paid for it, and I'm not.
Is this ethical? Is it ethical for a club to give a ref a bang-up dinner? You know, for the next match you referee for them?
No, it's okay. They're not, because they're not paying him.
Well, they're not paying me, Karl, and equally
It is
my old club. They feed every ref every week, and they give them beer as well. You know, it's not like football refs.
Before the game.
I had it. Yeah. Well, okay. So going on a tangent, which we never do on this show. Basically, every referee will get not only a meal after the game, but they will get a drink. If you're really lucky, they might even come out at half time and offer you port and cheese. You know,
wow.
But,
port and cheese.
That doesn't happen that often. That was a bit of a bribe that they were trying. No. We're referees referee their own clubs. You know, we're not. You don't go out to be biased, Karl. In fact, sometimes it can go against the home club because you can be harder on them. So, no. There you go.
No, good.
Okay.
I was going to tell you a story about the fact that I once had a chat with a football ref, and I said to him, "I'll see you in the clubhouse afterwards." You know, he went, "Oh no, we don't go into the clubhouses afterwards." Well, for me, that's part of the game. If I, as a rugby referee, couldn't go into the clubhouse and have a chat with the guys afterwards, that would be a sorry state. So there.
Yeah, you tell them to go do something.
No, I just wouldn't ref.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, that's my tangentized.
Now last week I should say I forgot to mention that I did an Audio Hijack 4 review for MyMac, and obviously it is already over on MyMac. So
very good.
And you know what? It has been so long, because honestly, originally MyMac was almost all reviews and a couple of opinion pieces. And then somewhere over the course of years, people stopped writing. And that's like one of the things I love to do. So I have another review that I'm working on right now, as in I haven't yet started, but will soon. And I hope to have that finished and completed like in the next week or so.
Cool. That's like a beta, isn't it? We don't mention betas normally.
Not normally.
Anyway, should we jump into Gaz's snippets?
Yes.
Now, Karl,
you said that early.
I know it. No, or did I say it late? Chicken or egg?
It was Lurley.
It was Lurley. That was right. Okay, Gazzy snippets. There you go. Karl, get that tone ready that I mentioned before. Okay. Now, this apparently came from somebody called Ming Chi Kuo.
Ming Chi Kuo. Ruba.
Perfect.
Chi Kuo. Ruba.
Love it. Love it.
I see flying monkeys everywhere.
Well, yes, we both do very often. Apparently, according to that person just mentioned, I don't want to say it again because he might have to play it again, is saying that Apple is prepping sophisticated temperature monitoring for the Apple Watch. And the only reason I brought this story was because it was from him.
That person.
Apple apparently are facing new Dutch fines in the ongoing dating apps dispute. So
they have to beef up their military. So, NATO's insisting on it. They got to get that money from somewhere.
There's a few reasons why they might want to, but let's not go there. Apparently Apple has poached. Now, initially, I now understand, I think. I suddenly got this story, but initially I didn't get it because it says Apple poaches a 31-year-old Ford veteran. And I thought, now in the UK, we don't refer to our armed services once they've finished in the armed services as veterans. Okay?
And how long did he work for President Ford?
So there's a double whammy there, isn't there? Anyway, apparently Apple has poached a 31-year-old Ford veteran as it aims for self-driving EV launch by 2025. Right.
It's getting further and further away.
I thought that was getting closer, to be honest with you. I thought it was 2030. It was recent. No, I still think it's a service, but I think as Guy is showing on the YouTube video, he is likely to be dead before it happens.
Yeah, very much so. Whether by hanging or by natural causes. Haven't
Yes.
quite decided how I'm going to go with it.
No,
yet.
you'll just get knocked down by the first one out of production. That's what
Yeah, I'll be like, it's an app.
Apparently, researchers find a minor flaw in the Apple silicon. I mingled those two words there, didn't I? Apple and
Applecon.
silicon.
Yeah.
Applecon chips. Security researchers have discovered a minor flaw in Apple silicon chips that could lead to limited data leakage. However, apparently, there's little cause for concern.
But they were going to mention it anyway.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
And Apple's
Here we
already
go.
aware of it as well.
Yes, yeah, I don't think it's a big one. It will hopefully get fixed at some point in the future, maybe. And I don't know whether there's going to be a firmware update. Anyway, we'll learn more about that as we understand more. Moving on. In fact, you probably listen to Mac and Forth, and they'll have a much better review of that in the weeks to come. Maybe not. Elon Musk says Apple's App Store fee is equivalent to a 30% tax on the internet. Elon Musk, shut up. That's all I'm going to say there. I'm going to say nothing more.
Look, he's got to pay for Twitter somehow. Okay.
Uncovering the set. Sorry, go on.
So I'm just going to say, how much are his cars again?
And they're not very well built for anybody thinking about buying one, just in case. What's the bodywork? Anyway, we're doing tangents.
Really?
I don't know if have either of you seen this. Uncovering the sounds of a galaxy far, far away with a Mac. Apple released a video about sounds being created for the Star Wars universe. So if you go onto the Apple YouTube page, actually it's quite an interesting watch, to be honest with you. And it's not so much about, it's more the fact that Apple hardware and possibly some software has been used in the creation of it. But it is quite good.
The only problem with me is since a certain big company took over Star Wars, it's gone from this. It's gone from this to this.
However, that is still John Williams on the sousaphone.
Apparently,
Still
Apple
counts.
Can I finish, please?
Yes,
Right,
sorry.
thank you. Apparently, Apple Music is sometimes replacing other apps in the dock when installed from the App Store. I think they may have fixed this. There's been a little tweak and a twitch where Apple Music has suddenly gone into the dock saying, yes, you want me here, don't you? Yes, yes, I'm so big and clever. Well, I think the processes here have now been fixed and it may not do it quite so often. But if that happened to you...
Quite so often.
I'm not saying it's never going to happen, Guy.
Yeah. I'm buying this bar of soap. Oh, it's been replaced by Apple Music.
Sorry, do you buy your soap from Docks?
I do.
I'm just asking.
I do. It's from a
Docks-
really dodgy guy that's right there at the end of the docks.
And wearing Docks in the UK means something else, doesn't it, Karl?
I guess so.
Come on, Doc Martens.
Oh, sorry. I was thinking, right. Yes. Of course.
Yeah, I was thinking like SBDM or something.
Yeah. Moving on.
That's
Apple.
right where my mind goes.
Moving on.
Sure.
Apple, Google, and Microsoft have committed to expand support for FIDO standard. So
Your boy.
Yeah, absolutely. What in a joint effort to make the web more secure and usable for all, Apple, Google, and Microsoft have announced plans to expand support for a common passwordless, you have to say that very carefully, sign-in standard created by the FIDO Alliance and the World Wide Web Consortium.
I can't see how that
Alliance.
could possibly go wrong.
Nothing could go wrong there, could it?
Yeah.
Okay.
And all they need to do is bring in Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all of the other social media services because TikTok. Oh, definitely. Actually, just have them farm the whole thing out to TikTok. I think that is the best move possible.
Customers in India are no longer able to use a debit or credit card for subscriptions and app purchases using their Apple ID. This means they can no longer purchase apps from the App Store, subscribe to Apple services, or buy Apple Media with credit or debit. I don't know what's going on there. Something has gone astray in India.
Well, in a similar story, the happiness meter in India has suddenly risen beyond the stratosphere, and researchers are not sure why.
Now, this next story that I've got, see, I'll try and move on, Carl. I don't dwell on what it says.
There's no point.
There's no point. Actually, this one ties in with the title of this particular show. Feral Interactive have said that Apple Silicon opens up exciting opportunities for the future of Mac gaming. So we might hear a little bit more about that later. We may not. Apparently, Apple has finally reached settlement to pay $15 to some iPhone 4S owners over the throttling debacle that happened. Now, can I just mention here, the reason I wanted to bring this in was 4S. This is how long these things go on for, folks, and this is why Apple pays an awful lot of money to solicitors.
In other news, the last 4S owner died today.
Apple has released a new special edition of the PowerBeats Pro. Apple have released a special edition version of its PowerBeats Pro headphones with a special funky yellow and dark purple pattern in partnership with a London-based designer for $250.
Pass.
Wait, what was the product?
Apple
AirPod
Beats
Pros?
No, Apple Beats Pro, the PowerBeats Pro.
Oh, okay. All right.
Moving on. AWS Game, apparently, and this may also have something to do with the title of this show, though I didn't know it at the time. AWS Game Kit now supports iOS and macOS games developed with the Unreal Engine. Dun, dun, dun. A little bit too late for a certain company we won't mention.
Twilight Zone.
He doesn't listen to me at all. He doesn't listen. He's just straight over his head completely. Huh? See?
What? Even Apple, 7?
Apple's privacy chief, Jane Horvath, is to speak Horvath.
She can't be very private if we know her name.
Is to speak at the EU Data Protection Conference. Yippee doo. Yippee doo. I know I pronounced that name wrong, but I'm going to stick
as soon as she wonks in.
Yeah, right.
Whisked away.
Now, a working Apple One first batch computer is up for auction with Steve Jobs' handwritten serial number. The thing is, when I first saw this, it said a rare. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, how many of these have we seen over the years? Just how rare are they?
Well, there was only, I think, 66 made.
Well, that's how rare they are then. But they keep coming up for auction, don't they?
Well, I think basically somebody finds it in the basement and it's like, ooh, we don't even have to make this work. And we can make hundreds of thousands of dollars on it.
In the ongoing backlash from the Will Smith slap incident, Apple TV Plus Emancipation, that particular film, has reportedly moving its release date to 2023. We shall see.
Well, that's a real slap in the face for Will Smith.
Isn't that what I just did?
Yeah, well, yeah, but...
But what? Come on. Apple iOS 15.5 re-enables the API to let Apple Music third-party clients change the playback speed. Music Kit is an official Apple API that lets developers create apps such as third-party clients with access to Apple Music. For some unknown reason, the company, Apple, had removed the ability to let these apps control playback speed. But apparently the feature will be coming back soon. Bit of a faux pas, I'd say there. Faux pas.
Well, who doesn't want to listen to Led Zeppelin at 4x speed?
Well, I hope you can play it at 78 and 33.
And have Robert Plant sound like
anybody listening.
Redundant?
Yes. Anybody listening to this show who doesn't have a turntable will have no idea what I'm talking about. Apple's merger of iCloud documents and data into iCloud Drive apparently is now complete. And that, my dear fellows, is the end of my snippets.
You know,
Seamless.
I saw that story and I looked in my iCloud folder. Besides having iCloud Drive there, I still have the documents folder. So that hasn't disappeared. You know, I don't know if but however, everything seems to be either duplicated or not copied. What's like an aliased over into the iCloud data folder or iCloud Drive folder. So I don't know what they're doing there.
We never know what they're doing in iCloud. It's just
I know.
magical. Sometimes you upload a file and it will go bing, bing, bing instantly everywhere, and then another time it will take 4 days.
Well, you know, because I put a lot of audio snippets over into iCloud Drive. So if I'm at home or if I'm out and about or on an iPhone or iPad or a Mac or whatever, I can get into iCloud Drive and get things like, you know, the show opening, the show closing, all the rest of that stuff. And sometimes it's like, if I don't have that file actually mirrored on whatever device that I'm trying to use it on, it won't play. I can copy it in and it'll play, but I can't just like click on that file. Say, is that the one I want? Click, and it doesn't do anything. It's like, I don't want to download it just to hear what it sounds like. I just want to be able to hear it and then decide if I want to download it. You know, it's almost like a catch-22 for people who know what a catch-22 is, who probably also own a turntable.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Should someone take us out?
Yeah, Karl, take us out.
So could everyone kindly, please, just stand by, and we'll be right back.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to part 2, point 2, point de le show of the mighty MyMac podcast. This week, Karl is with us, and apparently, though he doesn't know it yet, Guy has given him a task. And I think Karl doesn't know what that task is until Guy asks him. So, what have you got in store for Karl, Guy?
Oh, not much, Gaz. Just simply, Karl, how do you game?
How do I game?
Yeah, we're gonna go take a break. So you know, you just carry on.
No, you got about 20 minutes, Karl.
Yeah.
This was just something I discovered, like obviously through COVID and stuff, where we couldn't do anything. And I like gaming on like the Xbox and whatnot, but because of various things, shortages around the world and stuff, you couldn't get a new Xbox when they started coming out. You still can't get a PS5 for want the money.
I know.
But I mean, a lot of people will buy Macs. Just know you're not going to be gaming on it. Full stop. It's not going to happen. Obviously, on the iPhone, you've got arcade and you've got all the iPhone games and whatnot like that. But that's fantastic.
It's not the same though.
No, it's always missing. Although I got to say, I've become totally addicted to a mobile game called Call of Duty Mobile, and I play it on my iPad with an Xbox controller, and I rock at that game. It's so good. But that's the exception. And of course, there's some driving games which were fantastic on iOS as well. And I know Gaz sunk many an hour into that. Was it Real Racing or whatever it was called?
Real Racing 3, yeah.
So,
I wasted days of my life on that.
Thing is, I can't play driving games because it's like a busman's holiday for me.
Yeah,
so.
it is for you. It is for you, yeah.
So that's no good. But no, so a few years ago, especially in England, I think there was one in the States as well. There was this company that came along with the idea of having a computer somewhere in a warehouse with a connection to it, and it would play the game for you and stream the game to you, and then stream your inputs back to the game. And it was a great idea. Unfortunately, because of latency and the internet not reaching the speeds that it currently does, it sucked. It was horrible, but the idea was there. Anyway, move forward.
It was called AOL.
Well, that just sucked for a period. So, But, got
Imagine
loads
trying
of
to
them
do
discs.
this over a 56K modem.
Exactly. It took so long to get any porn images back in those days. It was terrible.
I have no idea what you mean.
That's all those hard drives behind you, Guy. I know. Anyways.
Oh, they're very hard drives.
Anyway, so we've now moving on. We've now reached a stage where the internet for a lot of people is good. I know there's some still people out in the middle of nowhere that are struggling, but hopefully Starlink will come along and save them at some point. But
or 5G.
Yeah, but so a few years ago, Google announced Stadia, and it was the worst launch you could possibly imagine. They promised so much and delivered on so little of it. But it's still going, it's still ticking along, and I signed up for it when it started. And despite some of the technical aspects and the features missing, it did work, and it worked quite well. And you could start to play AAA games on it and things like this. And then also coming along at the same time is Geforce Now, which, again, is a machine you rent somewhere, depending on what server banks you're connecting to around the world. And then you can play games that you've bought from, what's it called? That game store?
Steam?
Steam, that's it, sorry.
Yeah.
And Epic Games as well, and a few other companies. So you own them, you buy them, and then you connect, because they're all stored up in the cloud, the game. And then you download them onto this distant PC, and you run them, and it streams to you. And it works flawlessly. And Geforce Now just last week updated its little program, its little app on the Macs to take full advantage of the M1 chip, and it runs even better. So I'm streaming 4K gaming at 120 frames a second, and I'm playing Tomb Raider because I'm cheap and I buy on sale games. But it's brilliant, and it looks fantastic on 5K screen in front of me, and you can also play it on the iPhone and the iPad. And just unfortunately, no Apple TV apps yet.
So Karl, a lot of players will always go on and on about what type of screen they've got. So, I mean, you said you've got a 5K screen. Is it the iMac screen, or have you bought a separate 5K screen?
No, it's just an LG screen. Because when I got my MacBook Air to replace my iMac, I needed a screen. So yeah.
What size is it?
27-inch, I think. Maybe 32. I can't remember. It's big. Look, it goes from there to there.
Wow. I mean, mine does the same.
Yeah, it goes
to there.
Mine's only like that. But...
and also, and as we're moving on, obviously, Xbox is also getting into this with their thing called the Xcloud, and that's going to allow you, if you sign up to them, to access to about 100 odd games in their library. And every time Microsoft brings out a brand new game that's licensed by them, it immediately appears on Xcloud, and you can start playing it straight away. Also, because of all these games are off in a server room somewhere, you don't have to deal with updates, you don't have to deal with corruptions, you don't have to deal with cheaters, you don't have to deal with any of that stuff, because it's all dealt by them. So you literally just sign in, pick the game you want to play, as long as you own it, and you're online and running. Every now and again, there may be, connection issues, because the internet is famous for things like that. But yeah, it works. And obviously you need the internet for it to work as well.
So is there any room still for these bods that go out and buy all of these water-cooled PCs to be able to get as fast as they possibly can? Or is it making sure you've got the right screen, the right interface to use, your controllers, and make sure you've got a really fast connection? You don't need all of this high-powered home base PC anymore, or is there still room for that, do you think?
There's still going to be room for that, because there's a lot of games, first-person shooters out there that are very Twitch sensitive, like how quickly you can react to what you're seeing on the screen. So, those high-end gamers, they're never going to want to go with streaming, because it's the latency, no matter how good it is, it's still not going to be enough for them, because they're always seeking that advantage. But if you're playing games like what do I call them? Massive multiplayer things, like World of Warcraft and things like that.
Or Fortnite, that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, Fortnite's more of the Twitchy thing. That's what I'm saying. So they want to be.
Yeah, but
they want to get that winner chicken
so
dinner.
Complicated that
No.
you couldn't. That you. I mean, you still could do it that way.
Yeah, but even I mean, I play first person shooters on them, and they're fine. Bear in mind, I'm 53, so I'm probably not not as nimble as a teenager, for example. But they work for me, and like I say, a lot of games come out on them straight away at full price, which I never go for because I'm cheap. But just wait a few weeks, and normally the reviews come out slagging them off, and then they drop in price straight away, and especially on Steam. And there's a few applications out there and sites out there that monitors all the sites and tells you when prices drop, so you can get in and snag like a game for like £2.
Half price or something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, how do they deal with cheaters? How does that work?
I didn't think monkeys could play on them.
Hey, case in point.
Well, the thing is, because you're playing on their systems, you can't hack their systems. You can't go into the files and change things, So you can like see where everybody else is on the map, for example.
Okay, but aren't you playing against not only people that are using the service, but people that are coming in through other means? Like if you're playing, say, GTA 5. Are you just playing the other people that are using one of these services, or is it through whatever the company's name is that puts out GTA 5? Is it
Rockstar.
through? Yeah, is it through Rockstar's interface, or is it?
Well, the only place the GTA 5 was available was on Xbox Cloud for a little while, and I don't think it's on there anymore. But it depends. So a lot of them initially were just you only play the people on the servers that are using Stadia or Geforce Now. But a lot of games, as they develop, as this stuff becomes more and more popular, they're offering cross-play. So there is a possibility that at some point you might be going up against someone in their PC who has rigged it up. But then, if you go online and you watch how cheaters get caught, it's quite entertaining, actually.
It is. I was just about to say, I saw some YouTube videos where these people that actually stream the games live, like on, not just TikTok, but the big game streaming service that's out there. And they'll be on there playing and they'll forget that they actually have this one particular cheat that shows where everybody is like a little block, so that they can ambush them and things like that. And then all of a sudden their whole game will crash and there'll be a message up there saying, okay, you've been banned because you're cheating right in the middle of their stream, which has got to be so embarrassing.
Now,
like they care.
Yeah. I mean, all of these services that I name, they obviously, Geforce Now you can get on for free for an hour, but you have to sit in a queue until a server becomes available. Yeah. But at least that will allow you to test it out to see if you've got the connection and it will work. Otherwise, there's another tier above that where you get in and you can play up to 1080p games. And there's another tier beyond that where you can get in and play up to 4K. And you go straight to the top of the queue when you log in.
Well, what are some of the prices for these services?
I'm glad you asked. He said, reaching for his mouse. So where's the pricing? You would just pick that right out. You could have warned me that you was going to ask for prices.
Carl, I'm about to ask you what the prices are.
So thank you very much. So at the moment, it's like $0 for a basic rig, allowing you a 1 hour session. And then this is going to be UK money. And then $8.99 a month gets you a premium rig with RTX on as well and 6 hour session length. And when that runs out, you can just start again. And like up to 180p. 60 frames a second. And if you want to go up to $17.99 a month, which sounds quite expensive, you get a GeForce RTX 3080 rig.
Wow.
That was that big graphics card that came out.
It is.
You get exclusive access to the RTX 3080 servers. You get 8 hours session lengths, up to 4K resolution, and up to 120 frames a second. And you can do that in 1 month or 6 months and stuff like this. And
well, have they, is there anything on there that tells you what your current latency is, or do they want to kind of keep that secret sauce?
No. You can run tests when you log in and it will tell you what it is. Some games you can, on this latest version of GeForce Now, you can press Command and N and it will actually show you all the details, like how much is being streamed, if packets are being lost or anything like that. So you can get a really good idea of what your connection is. So it's improving all the time. And like I say, it sounds like I'm spending a lot of money, but then if I wanted to go and buy a PC and build the PC and maintain the PC, I'll be spending a lot more than that.
Or if you went to like AliExpress and bought a Windows PC with a gamer card.
You'd have to be suicidal to do a thing like that. What madman would ever decide to buy a PC from AliExpress?
I don't know.
Equally, obviously they're charging you for the power, but that's your own personal power is not being included in that. If you're just using a standard M1 Mac, which is super efficient on power usage.
And the point is, you've got this stuff everywhere. So you can play it on your phone. You can buy a little clip for the Xbox controller, and then the phone clips onto the top of it. And it's great. It gives you so much power if you like gaming. If you don't like gaming, it's completely useless to you. And if you're a gamer who goes in for tournaments, it's completely useless for you. But I think for the majority of people who just want to go in and like relax and maybe play, instead of just some like gardening game where you match squares or whatever on the iPhone, you can go in and play a AAA game. It's fantastic.
But you still have to buy the games separately.
You still have to buy the games, yes. But like I say, on Steam, and you have to check that Geforce has them. They're adding more and more to their catalog every week. Every Thursday, they bring out between 4 and 6 new games that you can now compatible. And like Epic Games are doing it. And who's the people that do Assassin's Creed? I've forgotten the name. But they're on it as well. And you can buy subscriptions to them. So you get all of their games. You get all the Assassin's Creed games. You get all the Ghost Recon games and stuff. It's brilliant. All I do basically most of the time when I'm not doing shows, I'm talking to you guys, I play Ghost Recon ad nauseum everywhere. It's great.
How does that compare to, I know this is not a gaming podcast, but how does that compare to Modern Warfare?
So Ghost Recon is more your sort of thinking man's version, because you have to plot your attacks and you have to attack the camps, then you can go in guns
so is it
blazing.
more like an RTS kind of game?
Not really. It's like a first-person shooter, but not. It's much more calculated. So you've got to plan your attacks rather than just steam through, although you can do that. It's good. If you've never tried Ghost Recon, Wildlands, I think it is, give it a go. And again, it's dirt cheap on Steam, I think it is, or Epic Games. I can't remember what one it is. But I think you can pick it up, especially when it's on sale, for about £4 or something.
Oh, nice. So are you nodding your head that people should do that?
I am definitely nodding my head.
Hit it. Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
Mostly.
Gaz's tips.
It's time for
Gaz's tip. Well, as I wasn't sure whether I was coming on the show, I, at the start of the show, didn't have a tip. But I did come across this tip the other day, and it's something which you probably all know about. But a tip is something that you forget about as well. So, do you have to set multiple timers? Well, it's quite easy using Siri. All you have to do is say, hey, what's her face? Set a beef timer for an hour. And you could then add another one by saying, set a banana timer for 2 hours. And what will happen is on your phone or on your watch even, you will actually see the timers come up and they have the name next to them. So reminding you that your beef is ready or that your bananas are now ready, it's easy because you can see it visually on your watch or your phone, or most likely on your Mac.
So that's only if you want beef and bananas.
Okay, Guy. For the people out there that don't realise, you can use any sort of wording, because you could be setting a timer. You could be setting a timer for you to only garden for an hour. So, hey, what's her face? Set a garden timer for 16 hours and 42 seconds.
That is much better than just beef and bananas.
Can you eat a banana for 2 hours?
You see, everyone, what I have to put up with.
I think we're all nodding our heads at this point.
Yes.
Hit it. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips. That's the end of Gaz's tips.
Is that the end of the tip?
Will you let me finish?
Gaz, you are absolutely right.
Bananas. Okay. Hey, what's her face? I don't think. Do any of us have picks for this week?
No pick sake here, I'm afraid.
No pick sake. Okay, well, just remember you can go over.
I mean,
to...
Karl. In fact, I'm gonna use a Karl pick here. I'm just looking at the Ubisoft.com Ghost Recon Wildlands website, and it's got watch trailer. So there's my for pick's sake this week. I'll pop it in the show notes for you, Guy.
I didn't even know they sold watches.
Nor did I.
I got one. I got a pick.
Tell me.
I got. It's this little show called Mac and Forth. It's back on the airways. So
Mac and Forth podcast show link stuff.
Podcast show episode thing. Yes, that's it.
Yeah, podcast show link stuff. That's how I've got it actually written in the show notes. If you can, give whatever you can quite generously to the Ukrainian Red Cross or Doctors Without Borders. I don't have the link to the article that has like 10 or 12 sites that you could send it to, but Ukrainian Red Cross and Doctors Without Borders are two excellent choices if you would like to contribute to the current troubles over there in the Ukraine. Now, Karl has one, and I think Gaz now has one. But if you would like one, and the one I'm speaking about is a Woo T, and that is spelled big W, big O, big T, little I, little E. That spells Woody. And if you don't know what one is, do a review in the podcatcher of your choice. Send me an email telling us that you have done that review, and it doesn't even have to be a good review. You could tell us we're complete and utter garbage. Yeah. Yeah, tell us we're garbage. We're used to it. We have thick skin.
No.
And you'll still get a Woody. So, and it's not like we haven't gotten people telling us that we're garbage in the past. So,
did you want to play that piece that I sent you from Mr. Jim?
I have not only that, I have some others as well. I have 4 audio things to play this week, Gaz.
I love it.
People are learning how to contact us, and whether that's a good thing or a bad thing is up to the individual.
I think probably in the long run for us it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing from their perspective.
Okay, so I'm going to play the first one here from Scottish Jim. Sorry, I didn't quite hear what it was you said because my son Peter just tried calling me at the worst possible time. Thank you, Peter. And he's trying to call me again. No, I will talk to you later. I will talk to you in a bit. All right, here's the first one from Jim before he tries to call me again.
If you're looking for a talented actor who can speak in a Scottish accent, Guy's not the one.
Hey.
MyMac podcast with Guy and Gaz.
I think that's correct.
Or French.
Or French.
Or Indian. Or anything.
Or really any accent, even an American accent.
Yeah, I was about to say American.
My American accent is really awful. Because what people don't know is I'm actually you know what? I'm going to stop before
you're actually a woman, so your man voice is quite good. I've
got to say, Guy, your favorite American football team is going to have a race driving around it tomorrow.
Oh, you're talking about the Dolphins? So the Miami Grand Prix.
Miami, yes, that's it. Yeah,
nice.
Formula One's going to be driving round and round in circles, chasing dolphins tomorrow.
Yeah, through the streets of Miami. Hopefully, they will all live through the experience. Since Miami is actually so many American cities right now, just complete cesspools. But that's not what we're here to talk about.
How did we get to that from the fact that Formula One is going to be driving around Miami, Florida?
Well, you could have just started with Miami Dolphins and stopped right there, and I still would have made it.
You would have done it.
Still would have found it.
It'll be the only pit stop where they steal the tyres.
Yeah.
12 seconds later.
All the tires are gone. All right, here's one from everyone's favorite, who I sometimes have to edit. Whoops.
MyMac podcast 892 was so I had to listen to it twice, and it was still
Combining curse words and our favorite whistles. Thank you, Marcus. And I actually have one more from Marcus.
In reference to the MyMac podcast 892,
Huh.
it's okay if you say that the Apple TV content just sucks. I actually fired them about a couple weeks ago, and may wait, 6 months to a year, 3 months, I don't know, until they get some decent stuff, and then binge for a month and then stop again. Even though it is $4.99, whatever. It's just not worth the bother. Okay, bye.
Well said, Marcus. Thank you.
That's up.
Slow horses.
It's awesome.
Yo, that is such a great series. I'm really enjoying that. And I've always liked Gary Oldman. All right. And here's the last one from our favorite person down there in North Carolina. And you... Huh. There's a train going through.
Oh. Hey guys. Greg from North Carolina again. I just finished listening to the first segment in the most recent MyMac podcast, and two things come to mind. Number one, Guy. There are around 1.3 billion people in India and around 65 million people in France. Maybe stick to the French accent and tick off fewer people. Might be a wise choice. And guys, you were bemoaning the fact that Apple Plus was included in the streaming services headline. Let me tell you something. Apple TV is the number one streaming service, alphabetically anyway.
Thank you, Greg. Now, I've already heard these and I'm still laughing. I think that was brilliant. Thank you, Greg. Always good. Always, and also from Marcus and from Jim. Thank you also very, very much for sending us those audio comments. We're still waiting for people to tell us we're garbage, so maybe that'll be next week. Thank you.
Yeah.
If you would like to help support this garbage show, all you have to do is go to patreon.com/MacParrot. You can go to coffee, ko-fi.com/MacParrot, or you can pay a pal at paypal.me/MacParrot. Greatly appreciated. Now, Karl, if people wanted to get a hold of you and say, I realize you've just started redoing the Mac and Forth show again, do you think it's wise to come on to this show to advertise it? What would you, or how would they tell you that?
Well, I'm also back on Twitter now. Elon owns it, kind of. So you can get in touch with me on Twitter at Claw0101 again, or you can also get in touch with us at Mac and Forth on there, or you can listen to our show, our podcast, seek out Mac and Forth on your favourite podcatcher of choice, or go to our website, macandforth.com.
Those are all excellent ways. How about you, Mr. Gaz?
Ever so easy. Ever so easy. Send an email to Gaz, G-A-Z, at mymac.com, or on the Twitters, twitter.com/Gazmaz, G-A-Z-M-A-Z.
Yes.
You can also contact Guy and myself on the Twitters, twitter.com/Guy and Gaz, G-Y-A-N-D, G-A-Z. You can also send an email to feedback at mymac.com. That's F-E-E-D-B-A-C-K at mymac.com. Now, apparently,
Guy's the one.
He's the guy.
Is he really?
Guy was paid his 75 grand. So
He's the guy.
Guy was paid his 75 grand.
He's the guy.
No.
Guy was paid his 75
I was
grand.
not. It's a lie.
Well-
Vicious lie.
Well, the question is,
We know it was a guy.
well, apparently,
I like to go with guy.
so do I, Alison.
Guy says
Guy says what? What does he say? He says,
his name was Guy.
Guy.
Guy?
You remember Guy?
What do we remember about Guy? We remember that if you want,
An email from Guy.
how would they do it without
No fooling.
Thank you. Oh, my God.
Dear listener, you just had to see on video that he's just sitting there with his head hung low until he hears the other side of that thing.
It gets very, very difficult for me to continue if I don't hear no fooling. It's so hard for me. All right.
No fooling.
And obviously Gaz likes to torment me. So that's okay.
No, I don't.
It's a little torment. Thumbs up. I enjoy it. So if you want to send me an email, you can send that to guy@mymac.com or podcast@vertshark.com. You can also reach me on the Twitters. Like you didn't know that was going to happen.
No,
Carl.
but that's the way you carried on. It just sounded like someone had farted.
Are you sure I didn't?
I'm not. You are at an age where things explode from your body, if we all
for
remember.
absolutely no reason or warning whatsoever. So, if you would
Well,
like
there's
to
a
get hold of
reason.
me-
There's a reason, Guy. It's just no warning.
Yeah. If you want to get a hold of me on the Twitters, I have not one, but 2 Twitter accounts. The first one is, of course, Mac Parrot, and the second one is naturally VertShark. And if you want to see all of the odds and all of the vids, you can go on over to vertshark.com and they'll all be over there. Or if all you want to see is the videos, you can go on over to the Tubes of You, type in the search field VertShark, and you will find my channel, which coincidentally is named VertShark. Yeah, so that's how that works. And we have a Skype number, Gaz.
This section gets longer
It
and
does.
longer and longer.
It does. We have a Skype number, Gaz, which is well known.
I think
at
this
both-
podcast would be about 20 minutes shorter without this bit, wouldn't it, really?
It'd be a lot shorter if I wasn't on. We have a Skype number that both Marcus and Greg from North Carolina knows, and that number is area code blah. It is outside of the United States, 1 or +1 area code 703-436-9501. That number again is 1 or +1 outside the United States, 703-436-9501. Or if a 1 or a 0 just vexes you, it just makes you crazy, you're still not going to like what I'm about to tell you, because if you go right to the Skype app, you just dial 703-436-9501. So all of those things are still there anyway. So now I would like to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who downloads and listens. Damn it, listen to the MyMac.com podcast. It is greatly appreciated. And thank you, Karl, for coming on this week. Everyone, please go on over to the podcatcher of your choice. Type in Mac and Forth to get the brilliant Mac and Forth podcast with Karl and his collection of people that he has on that show. And I would like to say that I think this week, especially because Karl was here, that we were good enough. And that for the love of God, we've been smart enough eventually. And that Wilf Gonnet with a stick in his mouth, Wolf, people like us.
Gorman upp en Mac kan en forstrände och thingsid tangid. Ge het upp Karls manne pubert. I decided, Guy and Karl, I decided to sell my vacuum cleaner. I mean, it was just gathering dust.
Oh, I thought you was going to say it sucked.
Boom, boom, end.
So you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on. Go on home and go home. you can all go home and there's nothing to worry about. Get out of here now. Go on home and I go home.